Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am so happy to have back on once again Camilo EG. He has a brand new record out. It is called Endless Duel. I'm super excited to talk to him all about it. Camilo, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. What's happening?
Just enjoying the release of my new album.
How
And
do you
here
feel?
I feel fresh. I feel great.
Good.
I love the reaction. I love how
Hell yeah.
things are going. Just it's a good feeling.
Nice. I mean, the reaction should be nothing short of positive. As I was saying before we started recording here, a lot of these singles have been out. People, I assume, are familiar with them. But in the context of the full record, it just flows so seamlessly from start to finish. Like, it's 7 songs. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's like the perfect dose of what you would want for what I consider to be a summer record.
Thank you. The sequencing was really important, and it actually
Oh, yeah.
ties back to the title "Endless Duel." Starts off with the more rock-oriented pieces, and it leaves with the more introspective kind of slower ballads. That's
Nice.
the duel.
That's the tool.
Nice.
That's actually what I
That's
wanted to
actually
point out
that's
here
actually what I was
was so
out
the
here. Well,
record starts out with the song My Soul, which we reviewed not too long ago. But I want to know,
but I
how
want
do
to know.
you go about creating the actual track listing? Like, that's one of the most important parts for me in listening to a full record is, how does it flow? How does like the adventure start and how does it wrap up? What's the thought process for you behind that?
Well, I've got to be able to tell a story from a narrative standpoint, and also from a musical standpoint. It's got to be able to capture my voice, my reflections during a specific time period. And
Sure.
as a matter of fact, originally this is going to be a 5 song EP,
Oh,
and the songs Never Together and Burning Song were going to be my next EP. But I just felt like they belong with this set of songs, and I really like the idea of having a 7 song album rather than a
sure.
5 EP.
I agree. I agree. And that's the thing is like you're a creative person. So at the end of the day, you're always going to be able to create more music. And so why not put out a 7 track record instead of 5? I also think for anyone that discovers you, like by the end of it, I think people's attention spans are short nowadays. I think we can both agree on that. And it's just like 7 feels like the perfect amount to me. Whereas, like, you're not going to put out a double record with 30 songs on it and be like, all right,
No,
everyone, dig in.
and that's actually part of the reason why I didn't just drop all 7 songs at once, why I
Nice.
released the singles month by month. I wanted people to sort of take them in. I wanted each song to build momentum for the next release, and ultimately to come to fruition with the compilation together, for the sequencing and the flow to kind of all make sense in the big picture.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty reasonable to me. And that's kind of the thing is like listening to these singles one by one as they came out, it started to paint that picture, but you actually get the full, scope of things once you listen to it in chronological order. Thing that I want to know is like for the songs that weren't released as singles, why did you hold back on those and then, put them in the record?
So, then there was you. Are you referring to that song?
Yeah.
So that song is a cover. Jesse and Joy, they're a Mexican pop rock
Oh,
band.
okay.
They created the original called Llegaste Tú, and I actually just couldn't get the rights to put that in an album I was selling through
Wow, that
iTunes.
that makes perfect sense then.
I didn't want to jeopardize me selling the record by putting it on here because I didn't have the rights to do it. So I had the streaming rights, just not the rights to sell.
Completely makes sense to me. Well, the song is great, and I hope that if it ever works out, you put out the extended edition of the record, it can be on there.
Well, actually, I'm trying to get to that because I am going to put out an
Oh,
extended edition.
oh, hell
Uh,
yeah. Okay, cool.
I'd be able to include "Then There Was You," and I have another song that I already have recorded, mastered, that I'd like to put out on that fan version. I'm going to call it, rather than a deluxe or a special edition, fan version. I'll put
Nice.
demos on there. I'm thinking of putting a remix of a previous song called "Victory March." have it more be more rock oriented or sound more like these set of songs.
Sure.
And yeah, and probably that should be out within the next 2 to 3 months.
Awesome. I'll be looking forward to it. Another thing I wanted to know here was I find that the record does a really good job of blending genres together. That's always kind of been a constant thing in your music is you don't necessarily hold yourself to one sound, which I appreciate. You kind of cast this wide net, and I think that these songs as a collection really give the listener like a wide breadth of what you're capable of. So, I guess in a roundabout way, like how do you manage to create these songs that are different from each other yet still flow together cohesively?
So every song begins with me and my acoustic guitar. It's right behind me. It's blurred out.
Right, sure,
And I just let the song take me where it needs to be taken. So
sure,
whereas Ah Yeah Yeah I started as a retro 1960s kind of bop tune.
yeah,
Uh, I then envisioned my soul, for example, to be a little bit more aggressive. And I just built the song. Um, I'm guided by the melody. The song is built by the melody and by my all of my references and what bands have inspired me. And I just see it all as music. So, sometimes I'll listen to YouTube, other
yeah,
times I listen to Metallica, other
sure,
times I listen to Dua Lipa. It's all over the place, but I just see it as the rhythm, the beat, the vocal, the lyrics. Does it fit what I'm feeling for that time being? And I enjoy music overall, and that's part of my message. It's part of a message in my soul, and it's also part of a message in the title of the record. Because I mentioned Endless Duel. Well, you have the faster songs versus the more slower ballad type of songs, but also that's me. I have a lot of influences, and it's an
sure.
endless, the
Right.
rock will duel with the classical, with the pop, and with the R&B. It's a dance. It's an endless dance because it won't end.
No.
Uh, it's just a give and pull.
But see, that's the thing that I like the most about your music is that, yeah, you have this internal fight with yourself with the type of music that you want to make. And I enjoy that because just for example, if you're making an album just full of pop songs, then the people that just like pop music are going to listen to your music. But if you like a little bit of everything, there really is a little bit of everything on this record for everyone. You might attract someone in through the intro song, My Soul, and then they might listen through because they like the first song. And I think that's sort of where the music industry is in terms of like, yeah, you put out singles and then the singles eventually lead to EPs or records, so you kind of test the waters to see what people enjoy.
Yeah,
But yeah, and again, in a roundabout way, I know you're not trying to do that on purpose, being like, yeah, I'm trying to capture as many people as possible. You're just making the music that you enjoy, which is the best part.
I do. And actually, it's been very helpful with the modern sort of take on the music industry and
Yeah,
playlisting. Because I didn't know, my song, The Rover, and then the single, which is not in this release called And There Was You, those were big in country playlists. And I
yeah.
never would have thought that. And that's an entirely different fan base. And, the people listen to the more rock playlists where My Soul could go into or Burning Song.
Yeah, of
And that's sort of like an advantage of having such wide musical influences.
course.
Um, but it's not on purpose, but I just utilize it to my advantage. Since it naturally comes out of me that way, I might as well play it out with playlisting and
Yes,
targeting things of that nature.
totally makes sense. So obviously there is, one or two songs that didn't make the record. Everything else here is on the record. Do you have any, like, I guess, demos or things that you're saving for future projects at this point?
Yes, so Dig Up Her Bones didn't make it. That will make it to the fan edition.
Okay.
I have another song which is untitled. I've been recording it
Nice.
through my iPhone. And that's how it all
Cool.
gets started. I play it
Yeah.
on my guitar, and then I just record the choruses, the bridge, the different verses to my iPhone. So there's one in that format, and then I have different pieces. I have different choruses for 3 or 4 other songs,
Yeah.
and I have the verses for maybe one more. So
Okay.
it's like a puzzle that I
So it's coming
yeah.
along slowly, but it's happening in the near future.
My goal was to keep on recording, keep on recording, keep on recording, keep on recording, and that's what I've done this past year. So the public is now just going to see, all of that work that I've put into the past year. But I also don't just want to go into the next record, into the next collection of songs
No.
without properly promoting this set of songs. I do want to take a step back and just push this music out, push
Yeah.
Burning, push Saturday Night,
Sure.
and make sure people listen to these songs because one of my strengths and weaknesses, it's the same thing, is that I have a really good ability to hyper focus. And when I
Okay.
focus, I can make a lot of awesome things happen. But when
Sure.
that's divided up, I'm not as effective, I should say.
I agree, and I think it's the worst thing about being an independent artist is it used to be, yeah, you make the music, you put out the music, and that's it. But now you have to be a full-time business person trying to market your music to the masses. And it's a whole side of it that it's like, I gotta make the TikToks and I gotta make the reels and
Yes.
I gotta do the whole thing. And it's just like, I think a lot of people, like same as yourself, get so hyper focused on the music that they pump out and pump out and pump out. But sometimes it's nice to let it breathe and kind of attract and find its own audience.
Exactly. And I'm lucky in that digital marketing, graphic design, web design, it's what I do for
Yeah,
a living, what I studied.
sure.
So I have that advantage that I am that person that other people
Yeah,
would pay to promote their record.
right.
But in that same sense, I have a limited amount of time per day, per week.
Yeah, man. I get it. Cause like, you could spend literally a full-time, 40 hours a week doing the whole thing, but then burnout hits, you have your own life and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I think people just need to listen to it and make their own opinions and share it because good music will be shared no matter what.
Absolutely. And the craziest thing is that this second album or collection of songs is it's 7 versus the first one, which is 5.
Yeah,
And I have 80% less time now than I did then. I
sure.
have a
Right.
child. I
Yeah,
was able to do whatever I want, but because my time is so limited now, I get the best out of every minute possible.
exactly.
You know, yeah, I remember I came up with the chorus for Ay 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 after watching my daughter when she was 3 months old saying Ay 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 Ay, and I just thought Ay 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 Ay, that's gonna be the chorus for a song. And then my workday began, and then I had meetings, and then in between meetings, I thought, well, I can't forget this. I have an idea for a verse, musically, and then I'd write the verse, and then I'd have more meetings, and I thought, well, maybe I could do like a post-chorus thing. I have 10 minutes in between meetings,
Right.
and
And that's the
that's
thing
how
is
a
like,
lot of
yeah,
us.
man, you find the influence in your everyday life. So many people think, okay, I got to take a year off. I need to go travel the world. I need to have like all these different experiences and they can just happen right in front of your eyes and that's where you pull it from.
The thing that I'm very pleased with is that when I want to turn the faucet on, when I get into songwriting mode, I I deliver something. If I have 10 minutes, if I have 25 minutes,
Yeah, man.
and I feel that I need to deliver a chord progression, it's been 100% of the time that I've come up with something that I'm happy
Awesome.
with. So far I'm very grateful for that and very pleased that I haven't hit any writing block or anything of that sort.
That's nice.
Mm.
Very cool, man. I mean, listen, it happens when it happens. You can't force it, but at the same time, there has to be a baseline level of creativity, and obviously it's there. And a lot of people can't turn it on, like you know what I mean? They have to be struck by it when they're in the shower or driving or at the most inconvenient time.
Well,
And
I always
yeah,
have my phone on me, and ideas do come to me, and I just
yeah,
record,
nice.
and then I come back to it later. But if I'm not in the right environment, if there's chaos around me,
Sure.
I'm not going to turn the faucet on. Because what will
No.
happen is I'll turn it on, and then I'll be interrupted, and I might lose that idea, and I might be mad about that for 30 days straight.
Yeah,
So
it's completely reasonable.
just turn it on
Um,
when I'm at
another thing here was, again, I'm gonna say, this record holds so many different genres and so many different sounds. You mentioned influences such as, U2 and Metallica, but are there any other bands that you would, if someone likes these two or three bands and they'll like your music, just for examples?
Yes, I think the Foo Fighters, but modern Bon Jovi,
Yeah.
and um, Muse would be another one.
Okay,
I've used
cool.
all those in this record, and it really directly comes from it. I would say, oh, and Stone Temple Pilots,
Nice.
but not the early records, but the latter records.
Sure. And the connector between all four of those bands is like the sincere energy that they bring. Just like it's not even the sound, it's not even like the tempos or anything like that. For me, when I listen to those bands, which is pretty often actually, it's just like it's when I need a boost in my life. And that's the exact feeling that I got listening to this from start to finish. Um, are there plans to play these songs live? Is that, in the works or on the way?
So right now, I may put together an acoustic show,
Cool.
um, just me and my guitar. But in that setting, that's how I write the songs. But that's not really how I want to perform them ultimately.
Sure.
Recording a music video for Burning Song in the next 4 weeks, and in the music video, I'll
Cool.
be live with a band. I'll be playing Burning Song
Nice.
live. So it'll be real. I'll be playing the tune to an
Cool.
audience. It'll be recorded, and hopefully that's the beginning of something with those group of musicians where I can get them the other songs from the record and from the past record and the songs which are not on the record to ultimately play them because they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of um, positive kind of heartfelt, soulful, again, energy to them.
Sure.
And I think they would do well live in
Very
with
cool.
band.
Um, a couple more for you here. I want to know, are there maybe two or three songs on this record that you would recommend that people listen to? Ones that really drive them in to listen to the rest of the record.
Yeah, so it's actually the first three.
Okay.
The first three for a reason. I think the first three songs, it is my new sound. My Soul, Burning Song, and I. That's the future for me. That vocal
Nice.
sound, that interplay with multi-layering with the vocals, that guitar, those guitar leads, those guitar solos. That's my future sound. And I really think those are the songs that I would recommend to anybody who hasn't listened to my stuff, to my material.
Nice. And I would agree. And again, it comes down to the track listing. It's all about bringing people in and keeping them and making them stay and wondering what else is on this thing. So yeah, the first three have to hit hard.
Yeah.
Truly, I'm not even surprised with that answer because they are great songs. Um, and then my last one for you here is basically, is there anything important about this record that you think is important for other people to know? Whether it be the meaning, stories, or just like even a fun fact about it.
Yeah. So My Soul is an ode to every artist, every musician out there. In that, I say, don't be a bleaker version of someone else. Just be yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your conviction, in your
Yeah.
convictions, in what drives you, and believe that you can do it, and just keep on doing it. Burning Song is the first time I addressed my feelings when I immigrated from Colombia to the United States, sort of finding that identity in a new country, learning a new language.
Yeah.
English is my second language. And it's the first time I've addressed that with anyone in any setting. I mean, I've never really talked to any psychiatrist about that or haven't had therapy about that or
Sure. Yeah.
but it's called Burning Song. It's because those are heavy emotions that I've carried with me for my whole life or ever since I moved. And there was a practice, my wife told me about it, where you write something you feel and then you burn it. Just an emotion, a reflection, a perspective, and then you burn that piece of paper. Sort of like saying, I've gone through this, I've processed this. And I didn't do that. I wrote the song Burning Song. And I called it Burning Song because that's my piece of paper that I'm burning.
Love that, man.
I'm letting go, I suppose, but not forgetting, but letting go of the
Sure.
heaviness. And that's why it's not a sad song, it's a triumphant song.
Of
It's a
course,
driving.
exactly. No, man, it's fully inspirational. Just listening to the lyrics, but even learning about it now, it's like I have the opportunity to talk to so many artists, and it's pretty common to hear that it's like I haven't been to therapy, but I make music because writing the music down and creating it is not only an escape, but you also feel better. You're writing about your personal problems or triumphs or literally whatever it is, and you're putting out beauty in the world, and that's kind of the best part of it.
I really appreciate that. And there's a line from it, save my home, save my home. And I couldn't be any more vulnerable than that. Because that's how
That's
I felt.
awesome. Very cool, man. Listen, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and kind of explaining everything, but I want to plug this for everyone out there. Listen, I recommend you listen to all of his music. That's the first thing. But more importantly, the new record is called Endless Duel. It is out now. The links are in our article and everywhere else where you can listen and share and follow along. Camilo, it is always a pleasure getting to talk to you. I always look forward to it, and I truly want to thank you so much.
Likewise, and it's been amazing to see you and your channel grow.
I
Uh,
appreciate that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Very cool. All right, man. Take care. Stay cool out there in the hot weather, and I hope to speak soon.
Thank you.
All
Likewise.
right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.